the invisible man. Oh, the invisible man.
Well, hello everyone, and thank you once again for joining us for yet another edition of the Invisible Man Show. I think that was Phil singing along to the music. I'm not sure.
You can hear that?
Lovely singing voice.
It was beautiful.
Oh, shit.
We're going to hire you as a full-blown backing singer for It's All in the Mind. Anyhow,
Clothing optional.
When he
Clothing
back
optional,
in
right?
Manitoba, he won't have anything to do. So yeah,
there we go. Okay, so my name is Mark David Stallard. I'm lead singer for It's All in the Mind. Top left, Ryan Jans, bassman, my cohort in It's All in the Mind. And of course, Colorado Phil. Give a wave, Phil, our new singer. So we're the hosts of the show today. We have on, is that Ian Krochak, which you can see up there in the middle.
Welcome aboard, Ian.
Okay. So Ian is a country music singer-songwriter from Niverville, just down the road here in Manitoba. Ian's strong storytelling paints a vivid picture of life, the ups and downs and everything in between. His music is often described as rootsy-country with a little Americana thrown in for good measure. Welcome to the show, Ian. How are you doing?
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. How you guys doing?
We are doing well.
Doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, the weather's
Awesome.
a little more. The weather's a bit more manageable.
Yeah, you know, it was threatening some rain clouds there earlier, but it's I don't know where it went. But it's gone.
Yeah, no kidding. It's been oppressive. Been oppressive these last week or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, just a quick shout out to the audience. Angela Campbell, Pauline Santoro, and Shalim has joined us. So
Welcome aboard, everybody that's watching.
regulars there, thanks so much for joining us. I'd like to encourage everybody to like the stream, share it around, and also encourage you, if you haven't already, like our new Facebook page, The Invisible Man Show.
Yeah.
I also have a few people joining us today. Sarah Bertrand Chung, a friend of mine who I used to play in a band with. Amazing that. Maybe Dan's watching too. Hello to you guys. Rial Gervais and Ray Powers, our guest from 2 weeks ago.
Oh, hey, Ray. Good to see you.
Ray, welcome.
Hey.
Glad to see you, buddy. Hope you guys enjoy the show. So without further ado, we'll take it away, Mark, and
Yeah, for
we'll
sure.
get Ian going.
So, focus on our wonderful guests. So, Ian, I'm sure there's a lot of people not sure who you are. I've never seen you before. Do you want to maybe just fill in some of the gaps that I missed in the intro? Tell the world a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, guys. Thanks for the opportunity. You know, I hail from Niverville, Manitoba, the heartland of Manitoba, the fastest growing town in Canada currently.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a singer-songwriter. Primarily kind of country Americana. I've been described as kind of rootsy rock sometimes. Maybe that's my glam rock influences from the 80s, but I'm not going to date myself. Yeah, so I'm just kind of navigating all the current challenges, just like with the rest of everybody else. You know, have a family, work pretty diligently right now, and in the city, and I'm trying to promote my latest release, Drive Steady.
Yeah, and that's an excellent song. And actually, just want to shout out there to the audience. If you go to the events, if you go to the Invisible Man Show page events for today's show, you'll actually see a link to that song. So go check that out.
Thanks.
So how did you actually start getting into music? What was your impetus?
You know what? Just probably through osmosis. My family are, I guess, quite creative. They lots of music in the house growing up. Actually, can't see it, but I'm sitting in front of this old stereo that I just inherited when my parents recently downsized. So I remember having this thing open and listening to all the vinyl, like the scratching on the records, and we'd sit here and listen to like Gordon Lightfoot and Harry Belafonte and Bob Dylan and all that kind of stuff. And I think it just probably kind of leaked into my pores, into my soul.
Right.
So I started playing when I was 18, and kind of just took it from there. I did a lot of I was kind of an alternative rocker almost, but I still was definitely influenced by a lot of folk music, and got a little bit older and started writing, probably taking it a little more seriously in terms of the songwriting and trying to tell stories. And here I am, kind of just resurging my musical journey after a few years of just kind of focusing on family and career kind of thing.
Right. That just seems, your story seems has some parallels to my own. Well, particularly I was a And we've talked about this in previous shows, so I won't go into any detail. But I spent my formative years listening to my parents' record collection as well. And actually, while I think of it, it wasn't one question I was planning to ask, but here we are listening to our parents' record collection with putting the needle on the record and scratching them up and getting shouted at when we ruined them. Something that I think our generation, I know you're a bit younger than me, but our generation, we grew up with that. We had records floating around. Now, my kids don't have the records. They have, maybe there are CDs, but they don't have CD players. When my son was about 12, I gave him my CD. I said, we just produced a CD. He goes, what am I supposed to do with that? So I think that we've got a change in the culture. Do you think that this is anything will replace that?
No, in my opinion, nothing will replace that. I mean, I'm still old enough to kind of, you're like my first recording, I had a CD, I issued CDs, and that was something very tangible, something that you can get your hands around. It's very, and that's even like with records and that tangibility to it. You can never replace that. I mean, I guess, in some respects, it makes it easier, the music now, just because you can reach a wider audience. It's all digital distribution. And I get that. And I'm certainly trying to leverage that myself. But I personally don't think you can replace that. It's like going into chapters and smelling the coffee in the books and that's kind of vibe, right? The old vinyl and that whole experience, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the closest
I ever going to be a niche market that's always going to want something physical. That market will never disappear. And even that is like there's lots of friends, a lot of my friends who were way deep into music and would shop at like some of the record stores in town that are just all escaping me suddenly, the names of them. But they're also the people that will use Spotify. So that market is obviously Spotify and YouTube streaming and all that stuff that's not going away, no matter how much we want it to. But there is also room, and there's something that's really nice about sitting down. Like I caught the very tail end of the records. I was all into like the cassette tapes, right? And it was not fun listening to your cassette tape and trying to hold up that little insert card and like squint and read the lyric, and you're like,
yeah.
But when you had the big record thing, you could sit there and enjoy the album art. You could open it up and see the content that they had on the inside. Because some of them would open like a book, right? And that was just really nice. Actually, one thing that just came to mind. We're talking about some of your influences, and you're talking about some of your glam rock influences. Yeah. Right now, I'm going to put you on the spot. What is your favorite guilty pleasure song from the 1980s hair metal glam rock? You have to pick one. I'll do you one good here, and I'll go first. My absolute total guilty pleasure from the 80s hair rock.
Yeah.
Talk Dirty to Me by Poison.
Oh yeah.
It always brings a smile to my face. So what do you think?
You know what? So I had Poison in my mind. But I'm going to go with Bon Jovi. I'm going to go with You Give Love a Bad Name.
Yeah. Nice.
Like seriously. Yeah. So that's my guilty pleasure. Every time it's on, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to turn it up. And my son's going, Dad, you know what? Really? Can we change the station? Yeah.
And then you really embarrass him when you start yelling at shot through the heart.
Oh, yeah.
Too lame.
Oh, yeah. I can't remember the most pivotal, important information in my life, but I can recall the lyrics to all these kind of glam rock songs. It makes absolutely zero sense, right? Well, why is that in the deep recesses of my brain and nothing else? Who knows, right?
Yeah. Good question. Well, we could wax philosophically on that all day.
Oh,
that could be a whole show. What about you, Mark? Favorite 80s glam hair rock? What do you think?
You're talking to the wrong guy. By that time, I was I grew up in the 70s. So if you want to talk about glam rock, I mean real glam rock, then my first record I still have a sweet spot for was The Sweet Teenage Rampage.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was that the one with Little Willie on it?
Not mine.
That Little Willie won't go home. You can't tell Willie where Willie won't go. That's another one. Man, that gets stuck in your head.
Well, actually, this will blow your mind, Ryan. You talk about the records. That was on a 45, a little 7-inch disc.
You had that on the 45.
I had that on the
Nice.
45. Yeah, that was, and that would have been what 75-ish, give around there, right?
Yeah.
So I'm old.
Well, the Sweet was like they were like the cutting edge. They were like the ones
Yeah.
that pioneered that whole genre of, or at least
Yeah, pretty much they were at the beginning anyway. Yeah, and then following them right in their trails was Gary Glitter and Susie Quattro and some of these other real glam acts. Yeah,
Yeah, real glam. Yeah.
Although Gary Glitter's, we won't talk about him anymore.
Phil, what is it for you, man? What's your favorite 80s glam rock guilty pleasure?
Mike, turn it up.
Phil?
Turn it up.
Phil, you have to turn
Can't
the
hear
mic
you.
up.
Unmute yourself.
Yes, that works better, right? In high school, my locker, the inside door of the door, had all these glossies, Billy Idol headpins.
Billy Idol.
And headpins is one of my all-time favorites. And it's interesting, once I started doing the show, I actually, not on purpose, but I got in music from a guy named Randy Gable out in British Columbia. And it's him. After a few months, he said he still works with Darby Mills.
Oh yeah.
But I think he was with the headpins too. And she broke that up because she's got good reasons for it. I forget those, but I've seen the explanation. Randy Gable, headpins. And you know when the favorite, when she'd go, turn it loud. Yeah. Like, oh my God. You know, that's
I just saw them. I saw them about, not just, but probably 5 or 6 years ago, just the local place in Winnipeg. And I was blown away at how good she still sounded.
Oh yeah.
You know, I was completely blown away. I'm like, she has not missed a beat. It's incredible.
No. The Darby Mills is the bomb drop com, babies.
Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah, I'm actually anticipating questions from the audience. We just had a question in the comments. Can we ask questions? So get ready, Ian. They'll be coming, I'm sure.
Great.
But I actually have one. Let's get back on. I guess we'll get back on track just so we can find out a little bit more about Ian. You're a guitarist. How did you start playing that? How did that come about? Was that a personal choice? Forced to do it?
No. I think it was just a personal choice. I probably, it's weird. I probably, ironically enough, started writing lyrics and songs before I even played guitar, which is really weird. But I have like that cliche story of walking down Main Street in Winnipeg and seeing that nice guitar in a pawn shop, and like doing the kind of what's that the skit from Saturday Night Live, that will be mine. Yes, it will be mine. That guitar, Wayne's World.
Nice.
And I walked in there and I literally bought that guitar on display.
Okay.
And I still have the thing. Actually, it's in the basement.
Okay.
And then I've just been kind of playing off and on ever since. Okay. I've had definitely periods where I've like taken it a lot more seriously than other times. But again, I'm singer-songwriter, right? So I'm I like the songs. I like playing guitar, and I like putting them two together, and hopefully it creates a bit of a melody and a story. But yeah, I've been playing for a bit.
And you're self-taught?
You know what? I'm self-taught. I probably had a few lessons when I was younger, in my early 20s. But it's one of those things. It's hard to. I learned some things doing that more formally, but I think predominantly I'm just kind of self-taught, listening to the stuff on. We were talking about vinyl earlier. I remember literally putting fish weights on the record, spinning them slowly so I can learn chords.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I mean now it's like, well, you got all your apps and whatever the case may be to learn songs so easily now, or just hitting pause on your phone. But yeah, no, that's how I used to learn. I used to learn just little more intricate parts on guitar just by slowing down records. That really
that's cool. That's a cool hack.
Yeah, that's what bad, man.
And that's how I learned "Stairway to Heaven."
There you go.
That was one of the records I got.
That's how I learned to walk safely, by putting weights in my shoes.
Yeah, that was when I alluded earlier to being shouted at ruining your parents' records. That was one of them. Yeah. Johnny Be Good. All that. Yeah.
I remember trying to because by the time I started taking my musicianship a little bit more seriously, CDs hadn't quite fully made it, and there was still tape, and I was still using a Walkman with headphones, and so I'd have them sort of like this. I'd be sitting there with I'd have my bass on my hair, and I'd be doing this with one off, and then I'd be trying to do this, and then the tape the Walkman would start running low on batteries. Slow down, and it would start to pitch down, and so I'd have tabs in front of me trying to do this, and then I'd be trying to listen to it at the same time. I'd be like I'm out of tune, and then I'd go in and plug the tuner in. No, I'm not. I'm just damn tape. Just
well, I never had a Walkman, so you're very lucky you had one.
Yep,
I think it was a hand-me-down from my sister.
Yep.
Well,
I had the.
It was a fourth hand-me-down.
Yeah, I had them too. That was
she had it one weekend, and then it was mine.
That was the. That was the next step up from having a little transistor radio in your pockets.
Pretty much, yeah.
You know what my little radio wasn't a Walkman. It was a Simplot chemical can, in which I put a little square battery in the underneath there, and I had a little handle. Woo! On my bike handle.
Nice.
Hilarious.
Okay, so back to Ian. So you clearly have a strong country and folk base to your music. Do you listen to, or are you inspired by other styles of music?
Oh yeah, I think probably mostly I am.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's. I think I made a kind of deliberate decision on this latest kind of recording batch of songs to focus more on kind of a country Americana vibe.
Right.
Because that's kind of where I was going with it. But no, I think in my house anyway, it's eclectic. We have all the music on. I mean, I grew up, like we were talking about the glam rock phase, which I probably never still grew out of. It just, I think all those influences, I think leak into whatever I'm doing. I mean, probably like a couple of the songs on the new recording are probably could even be accused of being somewhat rocky, even kind of classic rock influence, if you hear it. So yeah, it's everything in our house for sure.
Actually, I was kind of curious. I think you were drawn to the storytelling elements of country. And I was kind of wondering, because for me, it's always been about emotion and word pictures. So kind of John Lennon would be one of my bigger inspirations. Put that in perspective. Now, do you find yourself writing songs with a story base?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's funny. I think it's if you're paying attention, if you're songwriting, you're kind of paying attention to what's around you. You can't help but start carving out stories from what you see in your experience, right? And for me, that's kind of married up with just melodies that I'm forming when I'm just playing the guitar. Just like the art of using words and syllables and the synchronicity and the rhythms of that. And then hopefully just mirror it up. Like the latest song I have, my single, Drive Steady, was very much like that. Like I started just blurting out those words and decided just kind of build the story around that. So sometimes it's the melody, sometimes the song, and vice versa.
Right.
But yeah, I do try to tell somewhat of a story, but I don't know. I mean, maybe it's my, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's my age or whatever. But I think I try not to get too specific because a lot of the folks in the songs that I like, they're kind of timeless. They're not. You can't necessarily pin it to a certain time, right? Chris Stapleton, the guy I totally enjoy listening to. I find that like if I hear him playing out and singing, like that guy's an incredibly talented songwriter. You can play it. You could have played it 30 years ago, and you can play it 30 years from now, and it's still, I think, it's just as applicable. So I like that kind of stuff.
Right. I always find it hard to write lyrics in a story. I've done it, but I tend to find my songs taking more of more of an abstract kind of more of a feelings approach. Anyway, yeah, I'm always kind of curious. I think one of the questions I usually ask is how do you go about writing songs? So just as a songwriter.
Well, you know what? Like, it's interesting because like my first CD there, I recorded that out in Calgary when I was living there for just a brief stint. Right. Everything, honestly, probably 30 to 35% of it was written in advance, and the rest of it I wrote at the mic, recording. So it was more just kind of I wouldn't say psychobabble, but it was more abstract and just rhymes and hopefully trying to cobble a story together. So that was a completely different approach than I approached it this time.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it's kind of I guess you kind of got to take a different approach. If you get very samey, very predictable otherwise. Yeah. Phil is doing his. Actually, we got Phil. My dog's going crazy, and then Phil's dog as well, by the sound of it.
Awesome.
There we are. Anyhow, a question. There's a question for that. I haven't answered this one. I just kind of wondering: do you need to be in the right mood to write music, or do you find that you're creative regardless of the mood you're in?
That's a good question. I think I'm always looking for creative outlets. That's kind of who I am, and I think that was definitely nurtured in us for sure. Growing up, so whether it was writing poetry, taking pictures, that kind of thing. For songwriting, for me, I honestly I have a hard time compartmentalizing a lot of stuff that's going on in my head during the day because I have a pretty busy day job, and that does distract a lot of my attention from songwriting. And also, I got a family and lots of responsibilities, right? So I definitely need to be deliberate in carving out that time, right, so that I can write. Yeah. So for me, it's pretty deliberate.
Okay. Yeah. Again, this is nothing new to the regulars, but if I'm feeling low, feeling down, I just have no creativity at all. I've got to be in a good mood, which would go a long way to explain why there's such an upbeatness to my music. Anyhow, we've been going for about 26 minutes according to my clock here. I was wondering, would you be up for singing a song for everybody, Ian?
Ooh.
Oh, with a harp, a fellow harpist.
Oh,
Nice.
he's got a harmonica.
It's a harp.
Harmonica.
No.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping I'm not going to have
harps.
malfunction here.
All right, man.
Okay, here we go.
This new harp rack.
Mythbusters has coined the phrase, failure is always an option.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do I say, though? Because it's a live show, right?
That's right.
Okay. So
no retakes.
It's like the rain rolling off the roof on my house.
Okay, so we're going to change over the spotlight now to Ian. So as soon as you say something, Ian, you'll get the focus.
I think that's Phil who's got it.
Oh, I know. Ian's got to say something.
Yeah. Do you want me to just throw in the song, I guess?
There we go. Yeah, just go. Carry on. The floor's yours.
All right, guys. Thanks. So this song here I'm about to play, I kind of brought it back. It's going to be on the new record, Drive Steady, which I'm going to yet to record just a chunk of it, and this will be one of those songs in that bucket, so to speak. And this song, like I said, I started writing this probably last August, and most recently just kind of brought it back, and hopefully you like it. It's called We Are Invincible. You say you gotta grow up, punch the clock, get paid. But you just can't turn yourself off like a light in fade. Well, we listen to our lives through the stereo, drinking cheap tequila down in Mexico, kissing the sun, now we're getting it done. We laugh, we love, we live, we breathe, we are invincible. Whoa. I feel the sun on my face, I feel my feet leave the ground. If I can bottle that up, I would pass it around. No, no, no. Will we listen to our lives through the stereo? Drinking cheap tequila down in Mexico. Chasing the sun, now we're getting it done. We laugh, we love, we live, we breathe, we are invincible. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Will we listen to our lives through the stereo? Drinking cheap tequila down in Mexico. Chasing the sun, now we're getting it done. We laugh, we love, we live, we breathe, we are invincible. We are invincible. We are invincible. We are invincible.
That's great. Thanks so much, Ian. And I just
Woo, that's awesome.
there we go. Okay, and just so everyone knows, we get hold of Ian there. If you're interested in picking up some of his music, you can go to his website, iankrochakmusic.com, and you can email iankrochakmusic@gmail.com, and you can find him on Instagram, Ian Krochak Music, and on Facebook, ian.krochak.5. So I'm assuming there's 4 other Ian Krochaks, I'm assuming.
I don't know what that's all about, that dot line. That's kind of weird. When I pick up on print, I'm like, wow, that's a little odd. I have to look into that.
I think my personal one. I think my personal page is like RJance, or it says RJance 38. I'm like,
Oh yeah,
that's weird. All right. There's at least 37 other Ryan Jances or RJance variations out there.
Yeah.
wow.
Well, this will come.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Ian Krochak. What a wonderful song, Ian. That as you were singing there live, I mean, I listened to your single because it was on Google Play, and I was like, yeah, this is pretty cool. As I was listening to you live, I really both the songwriting style and the kind of the tonal quality of your voice, and that might just be Mr. Peanut. Might be just having to do these things live over the internet, but it reminded me a lot of John Cougar Mellencamp, like just that kind of story. What was it? Life Goes On, where he's singing about Jack and Diane. Just that very familiar. Hey, we're listening to we're in the car and we're driving down Highway Highway 12 or something like that, heading towards the border, just listening to music, just having a great old time. So and that sort of familiarity about it, I thought that was just wonderful. I just that was great. I tip my hat to you. So I don't know, have you ever been compared to John Cougar Mellencamp, or is that a first for you?
No, I think, it's funny, we're talking about influences. I mean, how could Mellencamp, really, I mean,
right?
I listened to a ton of Mellencamp when that was in the car or wherever, all the time.
Yeah.
So no, I don't know if it's a nice comparison to have. I mean, it's, well, you guys, play music, right? It's you have to, when you're putting things up for digital distribution, they ask you, who do you sound like? And I honestly, it's hard to do that, right? Like, it's hard to do that. So you're playing it for friends and family. You're like, well, who do I sound like? And so someone said I sounded like Bret Michaels of Poison. So you bring the Poison back. It's full circle.
Well, hey, well, there you go. We made a full circle.
Yeah.
I can see a little bit of Bret Michaels. but there's a particular rasp, especially when you get to the, and it's a good rasp, that kind of that quality that is unique to like certain people had it. Like Kurt Cobain had a very unique sort of raspy voice, and so does Bret Michaels and John Cougar Mellencamp. All have these great unique tonal qualities, and something was very similar in your voice particularly when you were pushing it a little bit more into the chorus. I won't do it justice because if we do, we'll lose our view.
Try it.
Me singing is a good idea. There's a reason I leave that to Mark. No, I'm not a singer, man. Let me play. Just let me play the music. So, but yeah, it's a great tune. So now you can update your Google and say, what do I sound like? A little bit of John Cougar Mellencamp. Well, he's too fishing.
You guys mind if I do that right now?
Yeah, by all means, man.
No,
and you can say Ryan from It's All in the Mind and the Invisible Man show said, I sound like John Cougar.
I know
Mellencamp.
you said, so it's got to be true. I'm just trying
and it's on
to.
record. I will give you as soon as we'll put it. I'll find out what timestamp so people can go and they can.
Send that link.
I'm just trying not to hurt myself when I'm doing it. That's all. That's my
Boy.
Yes.
But it's interesting. So we're talking about hitting those notes, right? And so I did this last recording at Bedside Recording Studios in Winnipeg. That place is an institution, and Len Milne is the producer on the songs, and he's also the owner and a musician, right, of the studio. And so I would go into my day job and crank at my day job, and then go to the studio after work. I had a really patient family. Let me do that, and I wouldn't be quite hitting the notes, and Len would be like, the imperfection is that's good too. The imperfection is good to a certain extent, and so I like, when we talk about listening to the music like the Tom Waits or anything that kind of stuff too. I'm attracted to the imperfections in people's voices, or the uniqueness and raspiness too. So I'm down with that.
There you go. Right on. Yeah, just that tonal quality. Sometimes a mistake is more powerful than hitting everything perfectly. Right.
I got that covered.
Yeah. I think we all got that covered. That's all. Don't worry about that. It's not like we've ever done something imperfectly.
Although I've got,
you heard the Colorado Phil
started a song in the wrong key.
I say I've got to tell. You can tell when I do something. I'll do the old. I'll keep going. As you'll notice, a couple of times I accidentally minimized the wrong window, and I just realized, like I said, you can see my face doing exactly that on the screen. So you guys disappeared for a second, and anyway.
Well, the best one that we ever did, Mark, is when we were playing at Finn McCool's when it was still around in the Forks, and we were doing what song was it? And you just couldn't remember the chorus, and so you're just
if you should go.
Then, that's it. You should go. And then he looks over at me. I was like, well, "What do you want me to do? I don't know."
So I did the old '80s pop thing where you hide the you cover the strings, you go plaka, 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 plaka. And that was, I did that for like a verse, and I think a verse and a chorus, I think. And then I remembered
we were halfway to the chorus when we got in.
And then I remembered it's in the key of D. Right, I know where I am now. And there was one guy that was watching, and he was fixed, and I'm thinking, oh my god, what were you anyway? So we at the break we went over and said hi. I didn't say a thing, right? And he said, great show, loved it. And I'm like, he had no idea I'd screwed it up. The wonders of being an original musician, right? No one knows how it's supposed to be.
Especially when it's your own. If you're doing a cover of a song, that could be said a little bit more critical. But when there's like, oh, you wrote that?
Yep. Okay, I just want to take a quick break here. Just a shout out to the audience. Angela Campbell was asking in the notes that if she can ask a question, please ask the question away. Angela, we are monitoring the comments, and just want to say that Shalim said that he really liked the song. Pauline Santoro did as well. And to answer Shalim's question, yes, Ian is going to be doing another song towards the end of the show, which we're not. Wow, we've been going almost 35 minutes, 40 minutes here, so it's been going quick. Yeah, so towards the end of the show there'll be another song. So, and Larry Gregnon has So I'm reading Larry Gragnon and Sean Brown. So Sean Brown is actually we've actually shared. He was a neighbor of ours. Moved out west, I think. And I probably got the city wrong. Musician. Yeah. So thanks for joining us, Sean. I did send out an invite to you to come on the show sometime. So think it over and get back to me. There we go. Do you have anyone
shout out to another person who joined us, Drew Lynn Hansen, joining us all the way from Saskatchewan. I don't remember where she lives in Saskatchewan, but she has joined us. So welcome, Drew. And I think that's all for the people who've joined on our side here. So, Phil.
Yes.
You have been mysteriously quiet. And
I've been listening.
You had tempted us with a little segment here.
Oh, okay. Can I interrupt you just for a second? We have a question from the audience. My prompt actually listed the question. So Angela Campbell says, "Nice to meet you." Although she's never heard you before, but she said that there are a lot of people get into country music because it's marketable. What makes you the guy for country music?
What was the last part of that?
What makes you because maybe I can rephrase it just a little bit. So a lot of people get into country music because it's marketable. Why did you get into it? Why are you a country music guy?
You know what? I think. Oh, thanks for the question, by the way, and thanks for tuning in. I think it's probably just the storytelling. I mean, it's such an eclectic genre of music. So I think that, country, when I first started playing music a long time ago, country was more like a traditional country. And then it's certainly evolved, right? And I think the style of country is a lot more inclusive now. It's different styles of music. So you got your blues influence, your rock influence, even your pop influence, right? And I think, and again, as I get older, I think drawn to the more folky Americana country kind of vibe to tell stories. I think I'm primarily drawn to that. So I think it's, I'm not writing about, what I'm writing about from my 20s is, different right now. I have a family, I have a job, I have a really fruitful life. And so I think it fits into that type of vibe of country. Probably more so than the other influences. So, but yeah, it's a good question because it kind of makes me go, what yeah.
Now I gotta ask, do you have a Stetson?
No.
That's stereotypical.
I have a big head, so I mean, I would look at like that cartoon character with
Curious George.
Oh, the guy with the yellow hat.
Man with the yellow hat.
Yeah.
Curious George. Yeah.
It's sad. I mean, we lived in Alberta for 5 years, and so of course Stampede, and you get caught up in that whole vibe. And we dressed up one night. We had the boots on and the belt buckle and the hat, and I think we've had to burn those photos and delete them off the internet. Yeah, it's not a good look for me, to put it that way.
Well, actually, it was a few years back. Ryan and I were talking about how do we want to do our how do we want to appear on stage, and we ended up settling on white jackets. But while we were going through that, Ryan said, "Try this," and he puts on a trilby or a fedora on me, and I look in the mirror and I go, "No, I just look like an old man in a hat. I just look like no. I'll wear a baseball cap when it's sunny, but that's it." No.
Yeah. So I have one of those heads. I have just like it's a very round, like it's not super tall. It's just a pretty normal cut from the switch head, and I can almost get away with any kind of hat.
No, normal for a bass player, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to the back line there, buddy.
Although I would consider a yellow fedora because those are really cool.
Plug.
Actually, yeah, we go. Anyhow, right? Oh,
Go.
see, he rocks it. I can't do that.
Yeah.
There we go. I can.
You gotta bend the front down, man.
And dye it yellow.
Diet yellow.
Okay, sorry. So
this looks like the start of a beautiful friendship.
Well, speak for yourself.
That's
the
Dick
best
Tracy thing going on.
That's the best Humphrey Bogart I can do for you.
Okay, so Phil, you have something topical for us to do with tomorrow.
Oh yeah. Well, I did share this on the Colorado Phil Show this week throughout the week. But I have here a list of weirdly funny Father's Day gifts that'll make your dad raise an eyebrow. Hold on a second. I just got to make a few quick changes here.
Are
I
you
don't want to be
censoring?
looking off to the side. Huh?
You're not censoring it, are you?
No. Oh, I would. No, hell no. Do I censor myself ever? So here we go.
Scary.
Here's,
I'm scared.
and remember, these are just suggestions, of course. You can get your dad, if your dad is a fan of the next Netflix documentary Tiger King, you can get him a truly exotic statue of a gator dressed up like Joe Exotic. Even if he's unfamiliar with the show, his reaction might be worth the money.
I'd like to see that.
Now,
I'm trying to imagine my dad. My dad is like as right wing conservative as you could get. I'm trying to imagine him a fan of Tiger King.
I've never seen that. Well, when you gotta go, you gotta go, even when you're on the golf course. So the golf club urinal will allow your dad to take a swing at answering nature's call, even on the putting green. Even better, dad's playing partners will assume he's just getting his swing in check, not taking a leak in public. So this is a golf club, right? And the shaft of it is wider, and I guess there's a cap on in the end. And you just go ahead and you pee in there, apparently.
I'm going to reach out to you after and try to get that address from you for that one.
Shalim, our good friend Shalim is a golfer, and Shalim, we'll get you. We'll send you we'll send you a link as well for that.
And here's one for dads who love sriracha. We'll have we'll have the hots rather for this shirt featuring the label of the beloved hot sauce. I call it cock sauce. And it's a green cap.
Oh.
Sriracha. Oh, how about this one, right? No, dad won't find this bear onesie humiliating at all. Get it for him. He'll dig it. It's a bear onesie. I don't know if it comes in my size, though. This one's really cool. If your dad seems preoccupied with the coming of the next sexual revolution, this orgy shirt is perfect for him because from far away it looks like an ordinary patterned shirt, but up close it's quite a conversation piece. The sketches on there.
Oh, Ryan Shalim just replied that he's actually heard of that club. He's familiar with it.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Wow. Who would have thought, eh?
Although I always use the handy trees that were in the golf courses there.
Yeah, sorry, I gotta go.
Trees and
I gotta
shrubs.
chase my ball into the bush. Anyway, no, I'm not.
Oh, I didn't have to make that excuse. My ball was always in the rough.
Yeah, I know.
So now,
Left and right.
So then I gotta ask Shalim. Holy jeez, I don't know if my mic picked that up or there's some thunder going on. We
I
got
hear
some
the
noise
thunder.
But anyways, Shalim, the question is, do you have that golf club in your collection? Not just have you heard of it.
Well, we'll find out.
You know what? Now, some Father's Day gifts may seem like they are for dad, but really they are for you. This helpful sign will let you know when to steer clear. So you guys have all seen those yellow signs, right? They stand like this. It says caution, wet floor, or slippery, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this one is the yellow sign, and it says on it, caution, deeply satisfying poo in progress. So you give your dad some privacy, you know.
That's not going to stop my daughter is 2 years old. As soon as that door is closed, it's like Dada, hey, come in. No, you can't.
This one's really cool. I actually would like this one. Camping is fun and pizza is fun, but having a pizza delivered to a campsite is impractical. So this is called the Base Camp Pizza Dome, and it'll let your father enjoy his precious pies while enjoying nature. And yeah, it's a gadget on legs and kind of a container there that you can burn your wood. And on top, it's like it looks like a charcoal barbecue. You know, the old ones that were round with a grill on it. It looks like that, and then there's a dome lid on it.
Hey, that's not bad.
That was a good one.
I think that camping.
That wasn't
But
funny.
it's not as good as this one, okay? Is your father into cannabis? Like, really into it? Well, I'll be blunt. The Canagar might be the best gift. It's a device that easily makes a blunt that can last through hours of smoking. That should keep him and happy and sleepy and posting conspiracy theories on social media. I wouldn't say no to this one. Or this one, you guys. Most people only eat turkey on Thanksgiving, but a pot-loving dad will sure gobble up this bird-shaped bong. And it looks like a roasted turkey. The bowl is on the chest. Don't ask me where you stuck in, though. But,
So the question is, do you stick the weed up the turkey's ass? Like, is that the smoke?
No, you put the water inside,
Okay.
and you put your flour in the container on the little top there. But it doesn't show, like, do you smoke it through the evaporated arsehole, or do you have to spread the eggs and dude? I don't know, or suck on a leg. I don't know. It doesn't smoke.
Ian, aren't you so glad you joined us today?
Honestly, I'm thinking of beer can chicken as you're describing this right now.
I got a few more. Yeah.
That sounds
I'm
good.
taking notes.
Okay. Actually,
Yeah.
Shalim's actually just said he does not have the club, but he's good at finding convenient foliage just about anywhere, usually close to where his ball ends up.
There you go. You gotta go.
Yeah.
Boy.
Well, Winnipeggers,
Here's
we're cheap.
another
We're not
one.
paying.
Here's another one that I really like. Surely, Dad is a fan of s'mores, and who isn't really? That taste treat that combines chocolate, marshmallow, graham crackers. Well, these cannabis candies take those classic ingredients and add a little THC. Join your father in taking a couple, and you should both have a sweet time. That was my last one.
Well, I like some of those.
Yeah.
The last couple, anyway.
I like the turkey bong.
Me too. I'd love to see actually how big it is.
Yeah, it's
Well,
the
I've
size of a
an
room.
8-pound bird, man.
Yeah,
like
sure.
that's a big.
Yeah. I bet it's
It's
drier
either
than.
or the golf club thing for me,
A...
especially if I get older.
Now the question is that turkey bong drier than a normal bong?
It's
It
moist
depends
like
if you're
Justin
into Steve
Bieber.
or if you're into.
Just
okay.
Dry and
Yeah.
less tasty, yeah.
Hey, it's moist like Justin Trudeau talking to you in your ear.
Right.
Fucking moist.
Moist.
Okay, all right.
On that note,
So on that note, actually, we are coming to the end of the show, and it seems we did have a request for Ian to do some more. We had planned already to do another song. Would you be up for it, Ian? That would be great. And I am going to switch the focus again, and then we'll hand over. Where are we?
Well, he's ready. I just want to
say
say,
hand over, not
I want
finish the
to say hello
sentence.
to my buddy Elaine from work is joining us late here. So just before Ian gets going, welcome Elaine. Glad you can make it out here, buddy. And the stage is all yours, there, Ian.
All right, thanks, guys.
Hey, are you rocking back some Crown Royal there?
You know what? It's I woke up with a little bit of a sore throat today, so I got the famous grouse.
What's that?
Like
Scotch, not a boy.
it's a scotchy, harshy little pile of goodness.
That'll knock the virus right out.
Yeah, that was my game plan. So
There you go.
no, thanks for the opportunity, guys, to be on the show. And last song I'm going to play is my single "Drive Steady." Let's make sure I'm in tune. 2, 3, 4. Up on the 16, take it driving to the country. Feels like I've been here before. The setting sun makes me think about my dear old dad. He says, you gotta keep a little money in your pocket. In this wide world, there's no guarantees. Spin your wheels on my doubles in the black up and drive steady, keep every foot on the gas. Hey, hey. I'm heading west to the foothills of Alberta. I got the wind at my back. Feel it grip me like the straight back up from you. I'm moving on, she says. You gotta keep a little money in your pockets. In this wide world, there's no guarantees. Spin your wheels on my doubles in the black ups and drive steady, keep a foot on the gas. And you'll see no straight lines to your dreams. Drive steady, 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 drive steady. You gotta keep a little money in your pockets. In this wide world, there's no guarantees. Spin your wheels on my doubles in the black ups and drive. Just drive. You gotta put a little money in your pockets. In this wide world, there's no guarantees. Just spin your wheels on my doubles in the black ups and drive steady, keep every foot on the gas. Hey, hey. Hey, hey. Hey, hey. Hey, hey. Hey, hey. Happy Father's Day.
So, excellent. Thank you, Ian.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
Phil, what are you wearing that mask for, man?
Well, I'm trying to look like my uniform shirt. Oh, shit. I forgot one thing. Hang on.
Yeah.
All I was looking at during the song was that mask.
Oh, shit. I didn't realize everybody could see it. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. You're like big screen right in front. It was quite funny, actually. I felt like I was serenading the masked whatever. It was funny.
So I do have to preface this and say, like, I usually advertise this show with no PPE required. So you're still no PPE is required. Phil
That's
is just
just to
decided
get my face
to
structure.
be the invisible man today. So
Yeah, except you need ski goggles, and he's wearing a scarf and not a mask. Come on.
Hey, I have a scarf somewhere, but
best you can do on short notice. It's all good.
and I don't have a fedora. So
Here we go. Okay, I just want to, as we're closing here, we'll just let you know that you can actually find links to that song, Drive Steady, at www.iankrochakmusic.com. And if you're too lazy to go there, I would like to say go there, but if you are, there's a link also in the event for the show on the Invisible Man show page. If you have any questions you'd like to book in the future, or want to contact him via email, iankrochakmusic@gmail.com. And then, of course, Instagram, Ian Krochak Music, and Facebook, ian.krochak.5. There you go. So write that down, everybody. And while we're at it, if I can do this, we'll get the other contact information as well. So if you want to contact us, you can email us at info@theinvisibleman.ca. We are actually now on Facebook, The Invisible Man Show, as well. I haven't updated
Facebook
this yet.
page.
New Facebook page as a couple of days, or day and a half ago. And you can reach both Phil and I on Twitter, so at NDStallard and Colorado Phil1. You can figure out who's who. And Phil, do you want to do your blurb about how people can find your radio show?
Oh yeah, sure.
The radio show, you know, the one that you do?
Right.
Every day?
Yeah, every day, Monday to Fridays. It's on one station only right now, VW Radio. So Monday to Friday, 12 p.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time here in Colorado, 2 p.m. Central in back home Manitoba, the 204, and 3 p.m. Eastern, www.vwradio.co. And I want to throw into, I'm in my fourth year of doing the show. Started at January 2nd, 2017. And last year, I was talking to some friends, talking to some contacts of theirs, interested in sponsoring and stuff. But I got to raise up my social media numbers like we all do. So you can find my Facebook link, my Instagram link, and my Twitter link, as well as my YouTube channel for the Colorado Phil Show, all in one convenient place, as well as the 8 podcast listening platforms that the show is on. And I got to raise my live listeners. I'm going to be back in Manitoba soon. And
we're excited.
I'm excited a little bit too. And I want people to start listening in Manitoba, because I am supporting not just Manitoba artists, but all kinds of artists from all over the world. And you can find all my links. Go to www.vwradio.co, find the shows tab, and in the drop-down menu, click on the Colorado Phil Show. And you'll find everything there. Click on it, like it, follow, whatever.
Hey,
I think that's all.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Phil. Just wanted to say, Shalim said a very good song, and he would love to see a live show once the lockdown's over. So,
Thank you so much.
yeah. So
appreciate that.
I'm sure we'll have you on the. I'm sure we'll have you on the show again, Phil. Not Phil. Well, Phil's always on the show. Ian.
Am I getting fired?
Maybe before then, but if not, just let us know, and we can do a shout out for the show, Ian. And we'll
Thank you so much, guys.
No problem. Okay, a couple of other things. We don't get paid for the show. We do it just for the love of it. But if you'd like to show your appreciation, you can buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/It's All in the Mind. Would be appreciated. And completely unrelated to the show, I've got a children's book out, A Fighting Stance, which you can find at books.mdstallard.com. It'll take you to my Lulu profile. Go check that out. So it's a good
I
read.
love children's books.
No, okay, here we go.
We know what kind of children's books you love there.
Don't
look
ask
it
him.
up on Facebook. Look up Brenda's Beaver Needs a Barber. It's like almost 4 minutes long, and it is hilarious.
I know the book you're talking about. Yeah.
There's a whole list of them. There's a whole list of different ones. And I offered last week on the show, if somebody buys me one of the books and ships it to me somehow, I'll read it on the show. It'll be a fun 3-4 minute read.
Okay, and on that high note.
Well, you gotta have fun. That's my whole point.
I think that's the one that we're going to have to put up one of those taggers at the beginning. The following show is intended for more mature audiences.
But nobody will understand why, because
As I said, Phil, I'd love to hear you read it to me.
whoa.
Whoa.
You can read it to me, my
Yeah,
friend.
sounds.
Take that offline,
Anybody
guys. Take that
anybody
offline.
else? Anybody else creeps out on this? Anybody else creeps out? So anyway, and on that really high note, so we have to end the show. So a very, very big thank you, Ian Krochak, for joining us. It's been a lot of fun. On behalf of my co-hosts Ryan Jans, Phil Dupuis, aka Colorado Phil, and me, Mark David Stallard, thank you so much for joining us for another edition of the Invisible Man Show, and we'll be back next week with a band called Free to Grow. We had Jeff Patch on a month or two ago. Anyway, it'll be a lot of fun, so join us then. Catch you later. Thanks a lot for joining us. Bye.
Holy